the APC victory possible?
They voted for a greater and better Lagos. They got our message. So we should congratulate Lagosians for expressing their desire and the confidence in the party. They trusted us. They trusted the message of Sanwo-Olu and that of the party. And they voted for Greater Lagos. They are showing that they are not in any kind of bondage and seeking any freedom. It's not about freedom fighter. It's about a thinker and a doer. And what do you place before the Lagosians? And what can this party do for the Lagos to develop further and to make further progress?
The governorship election held in Adamawa State on Saturday has been declared inconclusive.
Announcing the result of the election at about 3:55 a.m. on Monday morning, the Independent National Electoral Commission returning officer Andrew Haruna said the number of cancelled votes is higher than the differential between the PDP and the APC. The result, which showed the candidate of the APC polled 334,994 votes, while that of the PDP polled 364,471 votes, while the margin of the lead stands at 32,476. The electoral umpire says a later date will be communicated for a rerun.
The INEC has also declared the governorship elections in Plateau State inconclusive, says rerun to hold in 21 days from now. Same for Sokoto State, where INEC's returning officer in the state, Professor Fatima Mukhtar, declared the election inconclusive earlier this morning, saying the cancelled votes were much higher than the winning margin. Right, joining me now is a public affairs analyst, Bolaba, who has been following this development over the time. Bola, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Mike.
All right.
You bouncing me between yourself and your...
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And your partner.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Okay, ain't complaining.
All right, now, out of all of the results that are out so far, you've been following the whole... Did any of the outcome surprise you?
Oyo.
Okay. How so?
Oyo, because tenacity has eventually paid off for Makinde, and that it was a case of a David against a political Goliath. So Oyo is a bit of a surprise.
The Otoge movement in Kwara State?
Because of the decapitation that happened at the last elections, the National Assembly elections, when the ultimate hegemon was actually beheaded. The political hegemon of Kwara was beheaded. Yesterday was almost like, a shoo-in. One had envisaged that it would have been surprising if the APC candidate or the governor-elect was not the winner yesterday. Because I must be very honest with you, I was so circumspect up until the manifest defeat of Saraki. I knew he was contending with some powerful forces. That it could be that humiliated electorally, I never envisaged it.
All right. Now, if you see in the 2015 election, in fact, people still talk about that camaraderie up until now, when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, put a call to President Buhari. In this election, we have seen at least about 3 cases where this has happened. We saw Ajimobi considered defeat, Saraki, and then the Agbaje in Lagos. What does this tell about the system going forward now?
It tells us that in some respects, some people are maturing with the system. It also tells us that it could be a fluke, because you must remember that the first person the first political personage to make much capital of such a gracious and positive conduct was Fayemi when he was defeated, a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
But the machinations of his party ultimately surfaced that grandiose and gracious conduct. So I'm sitting there now thinking, you know what? Sometimes this could be an act of playing to the gallery. Let's see how far it goes.
Oh, okay. But it's happening, and it's happening for real. Now, there has been condemnation from international observers on the militarization of our activities that led to tension, seeming violence in Rivers State precisely. Every election seems to be the same pattern. In fact, Rivers State on every election is always earmarked or identified as a flashpoint.
The most perturbing part of the current situation in Rivers for me was that on election day itself, Rivers was largely reported by journalists on the field. The elections in Rivers were largely reported by journalists on the field to have been conducted in relative peace, to what used to prevail. The level of ostensible violence was not that visible. So the following day, yesterday, to have had INEC pronounce the suspension of the process of elections was for me disturbing, because I could not reconcile the ostensible reportage from the field with the decision of INEC. And it's very disturbing, very disturbing. More so because we know that states like Rivers, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom are states scoried by the two major parties. And the machinations that must have led to the suspension of the process of elections in Rivers would deserve, for me, better explanation than the one page.
Than the one being given. All right, Bolaba, thank you very much for coming right now.